Okay, so let's see if I can put together a simple walkthrough of my workflow with quad subdivision and UVM wrap, and of course, if I can include some tips and tricks about how to manage UDIM workflow, including some example of unwrap and reloading of the maps. Let's start from some random object. You see, I'm going to use a pretty big mesh, 4 meters large, because usually you wanna use a UDIM on something which is pretty big, and maybe you need more resolution. I centered it on the word because in Wrapr and Substance you can orbit better, you can pivot better around an object if you put your pivot in the center of the word. So let's start with a simple plane. Maybe I wanna use vertex tools to just deform this a bit to have some random organic surface, maybe object. Let's say I want this soft selection to be 2 meter wide, and just do something like this, and then maybe add some thickness with giant push pull. I want to actually add thickness to this, and whenever I use this, I usually unsmooth my quads and make sure that all the quads are not sandbox quads, but actually quad face quads, and I want to triangulate because it's safer. Then let's say I want to select my corners here and here too, and filter my edges and loop this, and add some chamfer for subdivision with the Fredo corner, maybe 3 centimeters, also 5. Something smooth, but not too much smooth. Let's see how this subdivide, and that's fine. And maybe I wanna throw some random paneling work here. Let's say I want to connect some borders, maybe like this, and like this, and also like this, something similar. And maybe I want to build some corners and loop this and create a groove to simulate some kind of paneling going on here. And maybe I want to take this loop and use artisan with the control key to constrain this to normals and create this kind of groove. And maybe also I want to take this and just crease this for subdivision. I type in 1S, and also maybe I can create some groove here, and this time I don't want to add thickness to my joint push pull, and do something like this, and take this loop and this loop and crease them. So again 1S, and again I want to unsmooth my quads, make sure they are compatible, and maybe triangulate all of this. And let's say I want to manage multiple objects in my wrap. So let's create another one, and this may be a simple something like this. Maybe I want to erase this, make another group, put the pivot in the center, overlap with this one, Something like this will be fine. Maybe like this. Oh, and let's add some random detail to this. I can use different techniques. You see, I can offset this and then split by donuts, and then and then extrude here. And maybe I can add a couple of loops in the middle so that I can deform this with oh, I don't want my soft selection on here. Something like this, maybe a bit less crazy than this. Okay, and maybe just to add some random shape, do something like this. And then what I can do, I can for example select all of this and this, and maybe these loops here. Okay, and I wanna chamfer also this and see what happens. Something went miserably wrong, so I have to do it again and include some chamfer here at the bottom of the hole. So this one and this one, I can loop all of these and also include this one and this one and this corner too. Oh, and loop this, and this time it should work fine. Let's see how it subdivides, and it's pretty nice. And then maybe I can throw in some random sphere and cylinder face, cylinder shape. Let's start with the sphere, maybe half meter. Also a bit bigger, maybe something like this. And then I want to smooth my quads, get rid of half of the shape, and convert these triangles to quad. I create a toolbar button for the tool to mark diagonals in quad face tools. So I pick alternate triangles to convert this to quads. That should be fine. Okay, so now all of this is quad. Maybe I want to do something crazy and add a bit of a cylindrical shape here with the tools and surface, but I want to just create guidelines, create this into a group, maybe mark my construction points, and oh, I actually want a circle, not an ellipse, and do something like that, so that now I can now I want to be a bit more accurate with this, maybe in this way. And now what I can do, I can use maybe artisan insect and create another loop here, and just go in with maybe vertex tool, select none, so I can click drag on these vertices and align this with my circle. This is fine, maybe. No, it's not. I really want this to be here. and this one I want to drag here, and this here, and this here, and this in this corner, and this one is left. Okay, so now I can select all of these, select only groups, because I grouped my construction geometry here for the circle. And something I can do, I can really inset this again, maybe just a little bit to create some control loop, and maybe use Fredo extrude push pull with this option to flatten the top. I use this quite a lot to do this kind of stuff, and not sure if okay, there's no thickness, and then I can create maybe another control loop here. So I want to pick these edges and loop them, and then just create another control loop, maybe smaller, just 3 centimeter, could be fine. Nice. Okay, so I have these 3 different meshes with subdivision shapes. When I got my model, let's pretend I'm doing this crazy stuff for some reason. Maybe this could be overlapped with the actual main shape. Something like this, and maybe like this. So let's say for whatever reason I got this model, I want to unwrap this and create some UDIM tiles. What I usually do is this. I have all these subdivided objects, and what I can do, I can convert this to plain mesh. I also create a button for this, but you know, is in the subd menu. You can convert to plain mesh, so that you see there's no subdivision properties on them. Maybe in most cases, what I do is to hide my quads altogether before converting to plain mesh. Now, what I wanna do usually to work easily. Oh, I skipped something really important here. So let's see if I can just crease all of this and select this loop, and okay, and this one, maybe I'm better off with my original quads to fix this, and I missed this one. Okay, I don't know why I skipped this. I want this to be creased. Fine. So let's say I'm happy with my model. I want to hide all of my quads, convert this to plain mesh, and then go in and create some guidelines for my unwrap. So you see, I can pick all of this and this, and take this loop and unsoften this to have a different UV island here. And maybe here, I'm not sure if I wanna wrap this separately, but I could need this to create some ID map with different material maybe, so I want to unsoften this. And this is still too smooth. Maybe I want to unsmooth also this couple of loops. Okay, fine, this is what I want. And then I can do the same. Oh, maybe I want to create some cut here in the corners too. So I go in, select all of these corners near the pole here, and this one too, so that I can loop those and unsoften. And this will be useful later on. So let's do the same here, again with quad face tool, so I can see my quads. And maybe I want to cut this about here and unsoften, and here take a loop, unsoften this, and let's say this is fine for now. And this I can also do pretty much the same, so I can go in and select these two corner, loop and unsoften. And then maybe I wanna go here and grow this loop. Maybe better if I cut a couple of loops here on the top, maybe here and here. So I loop this and unsoften, and I do the same here with the grow loop and unsoften. And then I also want to select this maybe and grow loop and unsoften. So you can see I've got some surfaces which are easy to select, and you will see later why I do this. This is not mandatory. This is something I often do just for convenience. So let's pretend this is fine as it is. I now want to go in and mark my actual loops for unwrap. Maybe I don't want unwrap it. I want just cut here, here, this one, and this one. Okay, fine. Then I wanna go in and cut this. So again, with the shift, I can mark all of the loop, and then oh, I forgot to do the same here, so I have to mark my loop here. Maybe I want to turn down the not the whole loop, just a selection of this. Okay, I want to unsoften this. Now I want to go back to Wrapr and continue with the same job I was doing, and this is fine. So I've got some cuts. I want to create a material with maybe my custom texture where I put this into beta test, and I have a custom UV checker 2K with UDIM. This one is really useful for UDIM workflow. I want to make this 100 centimeter because it's convenient for me, but you can do it whatever size. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you don't change this size along the way. I want this to be 1 meter, now and forever. Then I can paint this, and also this one. Okay, so it's a complete mess, but that's fine. Now I can maybe create a group for this and explode so that I get rid of the component. In this way I can use groups and unwrap all of them in Wrapr. So I have to save this. Maybe I want to create a new folder on my desktop and call this delete me. Okay, that's fine. And the file itself, I will call this cancellami, which is the Italian for delete me. Okay, so now I had sent this to Wrapr, and this okay, there is another instance of Wrapr already going on, so maybe I wanna close that. Meanwhile, I wanna close this, yes, and this is my actual mesh. Okay, so let's say I want to create some UDIM for this. Oh, I forgot to cut this, so maybe I want to cut this loop. I press T on my keyboard and C for cut. And let's say this is okay, but I'm sure I got some distortion going on here. So what I can do is to use the square conformal mapping to start with, but you see something is a bit messy. Oh, I forgot to cut this at all. Okay, so let's cut here and cut here. I'm pretty stupid. I did all of that to prepare my cut, but I unfortunately forgot to cut this one, so maybe I will do this right now, right here in Wrapr, and I can turn off this, which is annoying in this stage, so that maybe I want to cut through here and also cut here, from here to here, and cut. I want to go in and cut this. Okay, and then I choose this before, so I want to cut through here, and finally I want to cut this. Okay, so I've cut all of this, and maybe okay, this is what I get, and let's say I wanna cut here too, because you know these are some kind of compression going on, so maybe I'm better cut this. No, I don't want this. I want to cut here. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's pretend I am happy. I don't know what is this, so that's really not important. I don't want to go super crazy about this, but what I should do right now is to prepare my UDIM set. This is the very important part. First off, I want to scale all of this so that the wider pieces of geometry are actually pretty much in place, and maybe I want this bigger one to be more or less like the whole UV space. And this is the first UDIM, 1001. Okay, so I can go on and pack this in the next UDIM. You can use the Wrapr default texture to each 4 square is a UDIM space, or you can use a texture. You see I got this texture which has clearly marked the seam between each tile. The really important thing when you're preparing your UDIM tile is that you don't want something like this. You don't want geometry going across different tiles. You can have as many as you want, but you cannot have overlapping tiles. So let's use the default, or maybe use this. What I wanna do is to pack maybe this all together into another UV space. So let's go with this and see here. Got this one and this one, and maybe I can squish this somewhere here. Oh, and let's say I now want to pick all of this and see my texture. So I can move this here. Maybe I can scale this actually. Let's take all of this and put this out of the way. And then I can scale this so that it can fit better my UV space. Let's pretend this is my era object. Somehow is something I want to give more resolution or something like this. Let's pretend that this has some text going on, some logos, something. Okay, so this is pretty good. I want to make sure I'm not overlapping anything, and here is overlapping. You want to stay out of this border, so maybe I can do something like this in this case. And then for the last tile, which includes this and this one, I will show another trick, something a little bit different. So let's see, I left this apart for now. Let's pretend I want to straighten these loops. And of course I can do here, I can go in and align and move and align, but I have another trick for this. So I will do this in the next stage actually. And this is my this should be 10, 22 or something, I don't know. This is this style. I want in most cases to pick a reference for this, so I use pure ref for this, and I want to maybe use the default wrapper so I can see it a bit better, and I want to pick a snapshot of the situation so that I can remember which island I need to put here in the next stage. So this is good. Now I want to save. Before I save, I usually use the Sketchup texture because when it's done, it will go back to the Wrapr texture, so I know that now it's saved and I can safely reload, but it's not, it's finalizing. Okay, now it's done, and I can go back to SketchUp and just reload this from Wrapr. I create a shortcut for this, and this is my mesh. Now, what I wanna do with this, I want to take this and this, this one, this surface, and this surface, and this surface, and make it into a group and cut it temporarily. And in the same UV space there was also this, so I can group this and cut this. And I want to go out and go in this one, paste in place, explode my group, so that now what I can do, I can export this one to Wrapr again. But before I do this, I want to use this trick to straighten my UV island. I use True Paint. This is the fastest way to get a flat strip in this kind of unwrap. So you want to make sure you are on surface mode, so that because I marked my UV island with surfaces, I'm pretty sure I will do a decent job at this with the surface mode and quad mode for mapping. And I want to do something like this, and maybe I wanna scale this to match more or less what I have here, even if I can scale it again in Wrapr, in the second Wrapr pass I do. What I want to do, I want to move this somewhere, because if you got some overlap in the UV shell, Wrapr will weld them. This is not what you want. So now you see this is let's do a couple wrong just to see the difference. If I do this in this way, I have the exact same UV on these two strips. This one I will do differently. I will do this way, and then I'll change this to something like this. And this is fine like it is. I'm including this for the only reason this is in the same UV space. Okay, so I'm fine with this. I can just open in Wrapr. I don't want it to be unwrapped. And there's another instance. Maybe I want to close this to make sure. Okay, so then I can unwrap. And this is a component because Wrapr already created a component, so I explode that and unwrap, and this will work. And I did it wrong. I don't want to unwrap this. I want to just open this like it is. So I explode this group, this component again. I just want to open this with Wrapr. And if I just open this, you see what happened? I have this flat strip perfectly aligned, which I unwrapped. So let's say you have some kind of texture you need to map into 2D space, let's say something like a text, this kind of stuff. You will respect the flow of the mesh in this way. But see what happens. See in the origin point of the UV, in the zero of the UV, I've got two different islands. You see, this one and this one are overlapped. So no matter what I do, you see, there's always something funky going on. So this is why in this stage I recommend to move your UV in whatever direction, just to make sure that they are not overlapping in the UV space. So let's say I want to move this here. You can go really crazy far with this, because you see you can always repack this in Wrapr after. So now I want to open this, and this is as component. I have to explode again and open in Wrapr. Okay, so they are not overlapping anymore. So they are, but you can still select them because the vertices are not exactly in the same place. They are not overlapping in that sense, so that you may simply go in and pack all of this stuff. And this one too. And I wanna take this and maybe I want to rotate with snap and pack like this. And I wanna make sure this is okay, and then I have to put it here so that it will be in this UDIM tile. This is not the best possible texel density, of course, but this of just an example, you know. So I'm done with this. I can save, and you see it's working again, so that I can reload this. So reload from Wrapr, and that's it. And now I can if I want, I can simply put this back in place here, okay, in this original position, and pick this and go into this, paste in place and explode all of this, so that is one mesh again. I do this kind of cut and paste in place really often. It's really a powerful technique. So I'm ready. To make UDIM tile work, what you want to do is to have the same material on all of this. So they have 4 UDIM space, you see, but they have all the same material. But let's go a bit more advanced. I want to explode this component, this temporary component I created, and convert all of this into component. One by one, of course. This one is a component. I call this one. This is another component. I call this 2. And this is another component. I call this 3. Okay. So then what I want to do is to copy this, Control C this. I want to copy this right now, and you see why. Because I want to duplicate this for create an ID map in Substance. So what I can do is to take all of this and put on a layer I call low baking, maybe. And this is low baking. I can hide this. I can paste in place my duplicates and make unique. Now this is unique, and this is called one. I want to call this I for convenience, and this one I want to call is I. and this one too. Like perfect. And then what I want to do is to this duplicate component. I want to put this in a different layer and call this layer ID. This is for my ID map. And now what can I do? I can use TruePaint maybe and assign different material to the different with this method. Is really not important, the mapping on the ID one. I just want to select surfaces because I want to, let's pretend I separate this because I want to apply the same material here and maybe here and here, and I want to have a different material, let's say on the flat strips. Okay, and let's create a couple of other materials. You want really bright color, really distinct color between each one. So let's say this one is the same material which is in here, and then I create another one with let's say green. Paint this different island. Maybe this one could be something like the very shape, so that you can see the difference. Now this is my eye model in baking. So what I want to do, I want to, oh well, I don't know why I created some mess. Why is that? This is my, not sure why I did something wrong. Which level is this? Okay, I didn't copy this. I did something fundamentally wrong. These are hidden on the other tag. Okay, this is I. This is I, and I can hide the on the layer tag, which is the layer for I. Okay. And this is the low. For some reason, this is one component. Okay, so this is sometimes when you do the same from inside, this will work. So another way to do this is to select the faces and assign a different material. Let's say this, and then assign a different material. Let's create another one a bit different. Let's say green. Okay, and I want to assign green to these faces. And now I check if this is screwing. Okay, in this way, if I go from inside the material, it will not mess the whole thing. Okay, so I will do in this way, but I will do it with TruePaint so that I'm a bit faster. So let's say this one is green. Let's say this one is yellow. And let's say I got another material. I did magenta, something like this. Here and here. Okay. So let's pretend we have the same magenta here and yellow here, and I want to create another one for the strips. And maybe this one is this one is yellow. Okay, so I have four materials, four main materials in my UV shells. So now I got my low model, the baking model, and I export this to, this is the actual model I will use in Substance. So that in delete me, I call this low bake. Yeah, this is fine. And this was exported. I can shut down this layer and export this one. And if you want, you can subdivide this a bit more so that it will bake a nicer normal map, maybe. But in this case, I will keep it simple. I will just use this for ID because I should manage the creasing, a lot of stuff to create the proper eye poly for that one. But let's say I want I use this eye poly model just to bake this ID map. So I create this as another obj with quad face tools, and I call this ID, and this was created. Now what I do in Substance, let's see, we can open this and create a new project. Let's say I want to create 4K maps because usually you want a lot of resolution when you're working with UDIM tile. You can always reduce this afterwards. You want to make sure the use UV tile workflow is selected and the preserve UV tile layout is selected. This is the default for newer version, but this may be different in different versions. Check this when you create your project. If you use this other option, each tile will be converted to a different texture set. You don't want this to work with UDIM. You want to actually preserve the UV tile layout. So I now will have the four island I created in Wrapr. And that's it for this. Obviously, I have to choose my component. I just save and delete me folder. And I want to pick the low, which is the one with the unwrapped material, of course. And here you have, this is my, I don't know what the heck is this. Wow. Oh, I missed to pick some of the, oh my god. I did something wrong when I picked these flat strips, so I have to do that again. Oh, this is really bad. So let's go into the, I don't need to change the eye model because it will be pretty much the same. I'm not sure why. There's something going on here, probably. Yes, here. For some reason, I missed this, so I better off to redo all of this, I fear. Let's try to unwrap, to open this object and see if the problem is there. There's another instance opened. I'll close that. Yes. I suspect that, in fact, here it is. There are some island which are not perfectly unwrapped, and you can tell that was the UV island. So I did something wrong in my unwrap, and I had to fix this. And what I can do in this case, I can just unwrap this one again, which should be the, no, not that one, the one, this one. This is attached to this, you see. If I select this, for instance, you can see this should be attached to this. How I can fix this? I show another trick. This is an happy accident because it gives me the opportunity to show you what I do in this case. I can pick all of this, I can group this, I can send it to Wrapr again. And there's another instance open, so I should close that before. I wanna close this. Yes, I wanna close this, and I won't start this. So you see, there are these this island I cut by mistake, I would say. So I can weld, and they are back in place. And now I can fix the distortion again, so I can use the square conformal mapping, and I can turn off this texture, which is annoying, and I can rotate this, scale this. Okay. And now I can move this in the other UV space. Make sure it doesn't overlap. And I can save this. Save. Once it's done, I can reload this. And that's fixed. So I can explode. If I want, I can explode this. I can take this and export again on the low bake. Yeah, I want to override this. And that's okay. What I can do now, I can do this. I can go in Substance, Edit, Re-import Mesh, and it's fixed, as you can see. Oh, and oh no, my bad. It's not fixed because I actually cut that. So I have to do this again. So let's do a recap of the process, maybe. So I have to select that because I didn't select the whole mesh. So that once again I group that. You can fix the stuff forever. You see, I should haven't do something bad like this in a so simple example, but this is what actually happen a lot of time when you work. You have to go back and check your error and fix if you want a really good model. And now you see this is all of the mesh I got. I hope this is good. So I can fix the distortion. I can again deselect the borders, select all the UV, rotate it conveniently, scale to fit, fix the position in this way, and then go sideways to the other UDIM tile. And now it should be good, I hope. Okay, save. And reload. And this looks good. Now I can explode. And again, I can export, accept, low bake, overwrite, exported. I can go back to Substance. I can, you have to see what happened here. I can re-import the mesh, and this time is fixed. Now, what I can do, I can go in the baking. I don't really need this. I'm not baking from an actual iPoly. It's a fake iPoly. I deselect the ID map for now. I deselect thickness because I don't have any subsurface scattering going on, let's say. But if you want, you can bake thickness, height, whatever you want to bake. Then what I can actually deselect is the normal map, because it will be a flat normal map. I really want the maybe for a model like this, what I would do is to make a world space normal map, which is useful to drive procedural effects, but not the actual normal map, because there is no iPoly detail to bake in, so you can spare some memory here. Let's say I want to bake with this resolution. I usually do some tests before, and then I increase a lot my output size, and I actually add some anti-aliasing, so that maybe in the final stage I may want to go also with 64, but in this case let's pretend that this is fine, this is good enough. Now that I baked all of this map, I can deselect all of this, and I want to bake only the ID map using an iPoly. Which iPoly? This one I prepared before. So now it's projecting the detail from the iPoly, which is a fake iPoly in this case, is projecting that ID information over this mesh, so that I can use that information. I can do different things now. I can, let's pretend I want less resolution for this piece or this one. This is 1012. I can go in 1012 and change the resolution and give it more or less resolution than the other. Let's pretend I want this to be something like 2K. Another thing you can do, you can use this to create a mask, so that if I, let's delete this, if I create a fill layer, and let's say this is just a color fill layer, and I want to use red, I can go here in this square for the map and uncheck. I can do this from the 2D viewport. I can do this from here, and in this case, you see, I masked based on UV tile. This is something you can do. Another example, you can actually, let's say you have separated this material in your ID map. Something you can do, you can assign different material to different stuff. let's say I want to use some sand here, and this is loading. Okay, and this is going on all the the mesh, but I can add a black mask to this, and then I can add a layer of masking with color selection. And with this color selection, I can choose, let's say, no, not that one. I can choose maybe this one. And now, whatever was magenta in the ID map, you see my ID map is being used to create some masking, similar to Photoshop magic wand, if you want. So let's pretend I would like to add another material for another piece of the mesh, this organic flash material maybe. And then again I want to add a black mask and add another color selection for here. And you see all of the the yellow part is made of this. You can of course pick another color and add, and this will be added, and you can delete this, so it's completely non-destructive, you can see. Okay, let's say I want to add another material, maybe also a smart material. I can add some crazy machinery material to this, and the same I can add a black mask to this, and after I add a black mask to this, I can add another color selection and pick maybe this color. Okay, and let's say I want to create something in which you can see what I did here. So I create another fill layer, and this may be a color, and I can choose something like I don't know, a procedural, something with a grid, let's say square something. Okay, let's go with this one. And also here I want to add a black mask, and mask by color selection, and pick this color. You see I only got the stripes there, and I can of course this is really useful when you work with the 2D space or with something like this in which you can actually go in and do something similar. You see, in this way the lines are going across, and of course you can mask and reposition, create a duplicate mask, but the whole idea of unfolding float strips is that you can actually follow along the geometry. Okay, of course, an advantage to use UDIM tile is that if I, let's say I want to add another layer with color, maybe some roughness, maybe some metalness, and some crazy color, and I want this to be really metallic and shiny, so that one can see the difference. Another black mask, another paint, with whatever brush you want. Maybe okay, it's filtering for square. That's why I didn't find this. Let's say I want to do something like this and increase my brush and paint across. You see, I'm painting across the different UV island, which is really, really useful. And this is one possible usage, and you of course can use this with some generators. Let's say I want to add another layer, which could be typically be some dirt layer in which you want to mask the metallic, give some roughness and some color, like this maybe. Something like this, and you want this to be masked, let's say, by some smart mask or whatever. Not in brush, in all libraries. And say I want to use, I don't really know, something like this maybe. In my mask, and you see the mask is going across all the different tiles, and this is really powerful. If you just change the balance, you can actually add this dirt to all the different tiles. And you see the dirt and the red paint are both going across all the tiles. So, final step. When you are done with all of your painting, let's say you want to export your map and export textures. And this is good. Let's say PBR metal roughness is good. You can do whatever packing you want, really. And go to the same folder, maybe create a new folder called maps. And it will export this and will append this number of the tile to all the different maps created. And when it's done, you can go in Sketchup and reload this. Now, what I do usually is something like this. If I go into my folder, I have all my maps. You can just, of course, import the base material in SketchUp and then link the different maps in your favorite render engine. But let's use a base color for this. I imported this as images, you see, but you can do this in multiple ways. You can also create a material and select the map. The really important thing is that because this material was mapped in this way, as I said, it's really important every map share this very same dimension I get before sending to Wrapr. So this is 1 meter. This is 1 meter. This is 1 meter. And this one too is 1 meter. Now I can explode. And when I explode this, you got 4 materials. Because I scaled that to 1 meter, all of these will create with 1 meter as a sides, so that I can replace this. How can I replace this? I can do this in multiple ways. The idea is that you are using 4 different materials. To help you, something you may want to do is to create some kind of guide, let's call it guide, with different colors. So maybe red, and then duplicate this and give it a different color, maybe green. Okay, and then another copy, and let's do something like this, and another one could be yellow. Okay, now that I have 4 materials, I can go in. Let's say I want this to be 1001. No, actually I have to do the contrary. I mask all of the other, and see, and I go here, and again mask by UDIM tile. So I want to mask this, this, and this, and then I go here, and I want to mask this, this, and this, and then I go here, and okay, that's really not important because there is the one left. So you have your 4 UDIM tiles painted with different colors, and this is helpful when you want to assign this. I usually obviously do this on 2 different monitors, so it's a bit easier, but you see the 1001 is the one below. So I go in Sketchup and I do this, and I pick my material for 101, which is this one, and I can go in and paint with this method because I want to transfer the UV. I don't want to use true paint to assign the UVs. I want to respect the existing Wrapr UV and use the surface mode and paint this surface, and you see is going fine. And then I want to assign the 1002 color. So first of all, let's see if that yellow one is somewhere else. It's not. The 102 is this one. So I have to paint that surface. And this one here, and this one here. And you see it's matching pretty nice. Next one is 1011, which is this red one, and this, of course, this of the stripes. So you can go here and paint, here and paint, here, paint, here, paint, and finally here. And obviously the one left is this one. And you can go in and paint all of this with this color. And you see, let me check if that's correct. Yes, this is the green one. And all of these pieces are sharing this one. You can obviously group all of these and hide this so that whenever you want to update your texture, let's say you do some other further editing on this. Excuse me. And let's say you add some different material with another different color or something like that. You can add a black mask and you can paint this other material, you see, and excuse me, I did it the wrong way. You want to create a black mask and then add the paint on a separate layer to be less destructive as possible. And you want to paint across the set. Maybe you want to do all over your crazy stuff and go here and here and paint and do some different things, and then you can export again. And when you export, the map are overwritten. Excuse me. When it's done, you can go again in Sketchup and reload the map one by one. So this is a 1001, and you can reload and load this. And you see the blue thing going on, and do the same here. Edit, reload the map, and the second map is this one, and you see it's updating really nice. And the same here, pick the third map and reload, and then go to the last map and reload, and that's it. So you see, you can really go crazy with this kind of workflow. And this is how I reassign my materials using True Paint with this method, which is exactly the same thing. If you prefer, or if you don't use True Paint, is the same thing that going here and changing the material from here without painting it. You see, it's preserved because you are not touching the UV, you are only assigning the material which use the existing UV, which is pretty much the same thing this method does. So you have multiple option to reload the maps in different and you see the whole thing of creating the surfaces is to be faster in the cutting phase with Wrapr, and to be faster when you have to assign material to different surfaces, because you always can actually select the surfaces which match the UV island you get in Wrapr. So I hope this was useful. See you next time.